How's it going? We are continuing to take a look at some interesting personalities up there and role models. We're taking a look at different women up there, right? We have South Parker, Sweden. That would be a woman that works with their hands, right? I thought it's worth taking a look. It's kind of interesting personalities up there, as well as we have taken a look at Australia, and there would be a sense of humor, right? And we talk about actors, dancers, singer. We have taken a look at fitness. That would be Italy. Let's give a shout out to UK, right? And we're gonna be taking a look at legal rights. So that would be all the laws and regulations, right? So I thought we were taking a look at very interesting personality out there. Eva Cornwell. Let's try to understand a little bit better what she is, what she does. So I managed to find some information and trying to understand a little bit better about her on Wikipedia. Eva Cornwell is a British YouTuber and former lawyer. She has been described as both study tuber and law tuber. Okay, okay, we can we can work with that study. So she is sharing her journey, and hopefully, she has a great personality, and she's looking to inspire more women to go after their dreams, right? Which is kind of interesting idea, right? And we are there supporting those kind of women who are doing great things. Cornwell began her infamous YouTube channel in 2013, right? So some time ago. So there's some information out there on the internet. There's a lot of women doing great things, but not necessarily there's anything to begin. Even right now, when I'm reading Wikipedia, right, there's I don't know, 20 sentences, right? Well, I don't know. Perhaps older women might have more information, but let's take a look at some inspiring personalities up there, right? So it could be more balance, I guess, and different areas of expertise. Some of those women perhaps would have different view of the world, which is kind of interesting. On her channel, she documents her time studying at law at Bristol University. Just how it happens to be, I have spent a lot of time in Bristol. I have a company there, so I thought I'm kind of biased, right? It's worth mentioning since I understand Bristol very well, and some of the personalities coming from Bristol, right? Cornwell launched her Millennial Coffee Club. Millennial Coffee Club launched their own blend of coffee in 2020. It's kind of interesting. It's something that I have done as well. It's because I think everyone has that thing that they really want to do. It's progressing into those kind of things and perhaps having their own products or services that they would like to promote or establish and having that independence. So perhaps a number of different ventures up there that could potentially generate money and do something that you actually enjoy. Like perhaps that it's not that hard to do. By the way, it's not that hard to do. It to do it properly, perhaps it's very hard because you need to make sure that you yourself you would be able to generate minimum order quantity every month or so. So there would be perhaps we talking about since I have done it, but it depends of your suppliers, right? Sometimes they can ask for you to order many kilograms. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of kilograms, right? So can you secure that those numbers? So that's a harder thing to do, other than perhaps launching your own. But people know who have done it; they know these kind of things. Perhaps this video geared towards more people who haven't done it, right? So once yourself you would start it and you need to secure those sales, right? You need to make sales, you need to make those numbers, and when we're talking about coffee, right? How you can fulfill those orders, right? So then you having suppliers, how can order 500 kilograms of coffee, and where are you gonna put that? Where you gonna store it, right? Well, use by date for coffee, we taking a look at year and a half or so, but it depends, right? As well as you like it preferably, you want to sell it fresh, right? So you need to make sure that you have enough orders and you can sell that amount of coffee. So it's a very hard thing to do. I know it because I'm doing it. But it's kind of interesting, I guess, if anything. But since we're covering influencers, right? So there's more information about this work, perhaps skipping all of that. So if anything, that would perhaps is if we're covering someone who has studied law, not necessarily is practicing law right now, but it's something that has studied law, perhaps it's a lot easier to communicate with someone, right? So then it comes to establishing a company and working as a company, some of those contracts, right? So at least this kind of areas would be covered, not necessarily other women that I have covered until this point, they have that area covered, right? Someone who has studied law would understand contracts, structures of those contracts, wording within those contracts, and what will be required when it comes to some of the contractual agreements between different parties, right? Perhaps worth touching on that. That would be more, perhaps, if anything, very beneficial for a lot of people to understand yourself. Perhaps you can establish different partnerships with some of the people who have done it if it's something that you're interested. Perhaps purchase coffee, or perhaps do different ventures and work as influencer, or how you're going to generate attention to some of those products or services that you yourself you're interested in offering. And so, from what I understand, is though she's not practicing law anymore, so she had made a move into tech, high tech, right? So, good. That I don't know. Many people might get stuck to what they are doing, right? Once you master one skill, best thing is to keep that thing, as well as perhaps started in developing another skill, right? So if it would be perhaps high tech or programming, it's a lot easier now compared to perhaps where it was just 5 or 10 years ago. Just because it's something like myself, I'm doing almost every day when it comes to programming and understanding some of those tasks that what would be required. So constantly improving skills, knowledge, expertise, and perhaps operating as, or perhaps establishing a company, operating as a company for many reasons. We're touching on it, perhaps areas how to begin or progress, becoming more independent. If you're being employed, perhaps do that not necessarily full time, part time, so you have all your expenses being covered. Once you covered all your expenses, you can improve in some of those areas that would be important if you're taking things that you are doing very seriously. So there's some examples out there and role models of how people are doing things, my opinion, right way, if that makes sense. There's so many things or ways how it can be done. Some of the people it seems that they're doing the things in the right way or very efficient, effective way. So if anything, I'm looking at establish that some of the people out there doing those things and recommend those people as their role models to follow. Yourself, if you're interested in learning more, I have published a book, Game Strategy. Within this book, I'm sharing a lot of fundamental areas which should be important for many people when we take a look at the business. I would define all the complexity of the business in three different areas. First area could be understood as yourself. You would be in the first phase doing a lot of research and try to understand as much as you can about the business, some of the business operations, and what would be required of you to do that. From there, you would need to take action based on the information and everything what you have done so far. Based on that information, you need to establish a business and operate as a business and start generating money coming in, right? From there would be a third stage where you yourself would be taking a look at different projects. Within those projects, hopefully, so you would have a lot of resources and allocating those resources into different projects, right? So that would be progression, sort of. You can find this and more QR code in the corner and company's website below. I thought it's just because it happens to be myself. I spend a lot of time in Bristol, right? I would say that to live in London is way, way more expensive. And I'm just saying, right? It's good. It's good that there are some role models, the women who are doing great things there, right? But once you need to make a leap and you're progressing perhaps from one area into another, and those expenses on your balance sheet sheet would add up, right? So since money going out might increase, and particularly if you yourself you would decide to live in London while doing that, that's challenging. It's very hard to do, but some people are doing it. Perhaps it's great. For women who would like to learn more, I would highly recommend. There's some good role models up there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.